Hi, and welcome to the Happy Artichoke. My name's Rachel, and thank you for joining me today to talk about nurse wellness. Today we're going to talk about sleep hygiene and nutrition, and I love this quote by Michelle Obama: "We need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher on our own to-do list." So first let's talk about sleep hygiene and why it's important. Not getting enough sleep can put you at a higher risk for obesity, insomnia, high blood pressure, diabetes, menstrual irregularities, irritability, and all-cause mortality. So this should be a priority, just like eating healthy and exercising. Let's talk a little bit about night shift. So the longer you stay awake after night shift, the harder it can be to fall asleep, and this is due to exposure to light. Light may improve alertness, and it can help shift circadian rhythms. So as our internal biology wants us to sleep at night, seeking out bright light during and before night shift to simulate daytime can help re-time that circadian rhythm. You can try wearing sunglasses on your way home to help protect yourself from light before bed as well. Other things you can do is to make your bedroom as quiet and as dark as you can to simulate nighttime. Use blackout curtains, a sleep mask, and you can use ambient noise like a fan or white noise on your phone, something like that, to help block out other noise from the day. Avoiding screen time can help as well before bed. That includes phone, laptops, TVs. Research shows that blue light from screen time can affect melatonin production. So let's talk a little bit about melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone that the brain produces in response to darkness. It helps us time our 24-hour internal clock, which is that circadian rhythm that I mentioned. Studies show that it's very low during the daytime, and it peaks between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. when most of us are sleeping, if we're working a typical shift. Some drugs and light can interfere with melatonin production, such as some beta blockers, caffeine, alcohol. You can talk to your provider about trying melatonin to help you sleep if you need to, and you can also buy it over the counter. This is something that shift workers use sometimes. They might take melatonin when they get off their shift to help them sleep, and that's another way of trying to reset the circadian rhythm. So if you take a peek at this graph that's on the slide on the right, this is actually a view of different melatonin levels at different ages. So you can see that it actually peaks around 1 to 3 years. Production starts at age 3 to 4 months, and then melatonin actually plateaus through early adulthood. It decreases with age, so around age 70, we only have about a quarter or less of melatonin than we had as a young adult. This is likely one reason why your parents, your grandparents, or older patients are awake in the middle of the night. So that's melatonin. Let's talk about caffeine. Caffeine can be used to enhance alertness during any shift, but right now let's talk about night shift. So small doses of caffeine, about 75 to 100 milligrams, which is the average amount in a small cup of coffee, taken throughout night shift can help sustain alertness. There is supportive data from a randomized trial in 56 shift workers that showed improved work performance and decreased workplace sleepiness when caffeine was combined with naps. Caffeine use should be limited to the first half of the night shift, so no caffeine within 8 hours of bedtime. You can also think about this if you're a daytime worker, avoiding caffeine within 8 hours of bedtime. Evidence suggests that single doses at the beginning of a night shift might be more alerting than dividing doses actually. So having a cup of coffee at the beginning of your night shift might actually help more than taking a couple sips of coffee throughout the night. And then you risk the inability to sleep if you ingest it close to bedtime, of course. Routine exercise. This is really important. Exercise daily. In one meta-analysis, regular exercise, which was actually defined variably across the studies, was shown to have beneficial effects of total sleep duration, ability to fall asleep faster, and even greater effects on sleep quality. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about sleep hygiene. So these are some tips for switching from day to night shift and vice versa. If you can, slowly adjust your sleep and wake times if possible to get ready for your next type of shift. So if you're working day shift and you know you're about to start a couple night shifts and you have a few days off in between, you can start to vary your bedtime a little bit if possible. I know it's not always possible. Drink enough water. That's very important, and we'll talk about that more later. Make boundaries. So this is something that I think we could all do a little bit better of, but these are ways to help protect your sleep because you need rest just like everyone else in the world does. So make boundaries. Hang a sign on your door that says that you're not available. Silence your phone. This works especially if you're a full-time night shifter, but telling friends and family that you're unavailable before whatever time you wake up, if that's 4 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., whatever it is. Schedule appointments, errands, timed with loved ones, just as you would during day shift around your sleep schedule. And then find what works for you. So, for example, I found that no matter how late I went to bed in preparation for my first stretch of night shifts, I would still wake up early. So instead of going to bed late, I would just go to bed on my usual time, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and wake up at my normal time, and then take a nap during the day, and that's what worked best for me. On the other hand, I know plenty of nurses who found success staying up as late as they can and sleeping during the day before a night shift, and that worked. So play with different sleep schedules and see what works best for you, and then stick to it. So a good way to learn this, especially in the beginning, is to listen to your body by sleeping when it wants to sleep until you can find your ideal sleep habits. If you're a little sleepy, take a nap. Find creative ways to stay connected to family and friends. So you can get breakfast together after work, you can get dinner together before work or go for a walk before your shift starts. You can make phone calls during your commute, things like that. And then advocate for yourself. So if you're getting too many fake days off like we've all had, if you're having health issues with your schedule, I know someone who got a stomach ulcer from having to work night shifts, just advocate for yourself. You can tell your nurse manager or the scheduler or a mentor that you're concerned about your health as well as patient safety. So start by telling them what you've been doing to be proactive about your sleep hygiene, and then ask for what you need. You might be surprised in their response. So sleep hygiene matters for everyone, not just people who are working swing shifts or night shift. Even if you work straight day shift, you should consider your sleep health a priority. This also includes avoiding electronics before bed, avoiding caffeine 8 hours before bedtime, so for most people that's around 2 p.m. or so, making your room dark at night, engaging in an exercise routine, and avoiding the overuse of alcohol. While alcohol does seem to reduce the time it takes to fall asleep, studies have reported that alcohol intake can actually reduce sleep quality and cause you to wake up multiple times throughout the night. So take that to heart next time you're thinking about having a couple glasses of wine or something before you go to sleep. You're probably not going to have as well of a restful night's sleep. Now naps. If you're having trouble sleeping at night, avoid naps, especially in the late afternoon. However, short naps that last approximately 20 minutes or so, they can help alleviate daytime fatigue, sleepiness, and even provide a cognitive benefit. However, naps that last longer than 30 minutes are more likely to make you wake up with that yucky feeling. It's actually called sleep inertia, where you feel even more tired than you did pre-nap. Some people say they even feel kind of hungover when they wake up after a 3-hour nap or so, and they just feel worse than they did if they hadn't napped. So something to keep in mind. The National Sleep Foundation recommends 7 to 9 hours for adults aged 18 to 64 years. If you think about what time you need to get up daily and count backwards, what time should you be going to bed? For example, I get up around 5 a.m., so I should be going to bed between 8 and 10 p.m. Nearly 30% of adults in the United States report sleeping 6 or fewer hours per day, and rates are even higher among younger adults, racial and ethnic minorities, and patients with a low socioeconomic status. Once you make bedtime a family affair, it can be much easier. I grew up with a whole family going to bed at 9 p.m., and my husband and I still try to do this. Create a nighttime routine that incorporates this. If you're having a hard time going to bed that early, you can try going to bed a little bit earlier each night until you reach your appropriate bedtime. Then stick to it even on weekends. If you're really interested in making changes to your sleeping habits, you can also try a sleep diary, which is real simple to a food diary. A lot of people can do this to see how they feel the next day, depending on what time they went to sleep and what kind of quality sleep they got, how it affected their next day. You can simply Google sleep diary for templates. Okay, let's talk about nutrition. So plan meals in advance. This is one of the biggest things. Meal prep. So just like we prepare for other parts of our life, like work and school, we should also prepare for our nutrition. Meal prep to save money, save time, and to control your ingredients. Plan ahead to be successful at eating nutritious, healthy meals, which will make you more productive at work and give you a jump start to your day. Eat breakfast. Breakfast has been shown to help control weight, improve mental clarity and decision making, and reduce nighttime snacking. If you're not used to eating early in the morning, you can try a smoothie or a protein shake. It can be easier on the stomach. If you work an off shift, like evening or night shift, you can eat breakfast like you normally would during the day when you wake up. Since many mornings can be hurried or rushed, plan your breakfast just like you would your lunch and other snacks the day or night before. Eat small meals. Plan on eating a small meal and snacks throughout the day instead of 2 to 3 large meals. This will help prevent the midday slump and steady your blood glucose and energy levels. Most people should eat 4 to 5 meals a day for proper nutrition and sustained energy. If it's hard to get away from work or your patients to have a snack, keep a granola bar or a small package of nuts in your pocket. An important part of staying healthy at work is staying hydrated. I know it can be hard to take bathroom breaks, but getting adequate water throughout the day can preserve your metabolism and maintain critical thinking, which is obviously so important. Per the AHA, if you are thirsty, you are already dehydrated. If you're well hydrated, your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Pay attention to the color of your urine. Is it pale and clear? You're good to go. Dark? Drink more fluids. Things that contain caffeine like soda, coffee, and tea are diuretics and they're dehydrating, so take that into account. For most moderately active adults in the United States, it's recommended to intake 25 to 36 grams per day of fiber. This is the equivalent of 3 pieces of fruit, such as an apple, orange, banana, or 1 cup of beans and 2 to 4 cups of veggies a day. Fiber helps keep you regular and full. Increased fiber intake is associated with many health benefits, including a decreased risk of coronary artery disease, cardiovascular and all-cause mortality, colorectal cancer, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. High fiber diets may in part protect against CHD or coronary heart disease by controlling cardiovascular risk factors, including lowering insulin levels and blood pressure and improving lipid profiles. Large cohort studies have found that increased consumption of fruits and vegetables is associated with decreased all-cause mortality, so consume 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables daily. Eat your fruits and veggies. Finally, consider your family, friends, and the patients you serve. It's hard to teach about a healthy habit that you yourself do not follow. On the other hand, it's much easier to counsel someone in a low-sodium or low-fat diet if you follow that diet as well. I challenge you to be a role model for both your patients and your peers by testing out your unit's current culture and advocating for change. If your unit is anything like mine, it likely includes minimal breaks, hurried lunches, and inadequate hydration. In one study, 100% of nurses reported that they did not take their full allotted break time, and 65% of nurses said they addressed their patient needs before their own. While this altruistic attitude is certainly admirable, time should be set aside for each nurse to take the breaks they've earned. One way to start this change for yourself is to begin slowly. If you're worried about being away from your patients for a lunch break, start with a 10-minute break and work your way up to 15 or 20 minutes. Encourage your peers to do the same. Give your charge nurse or another nurse you work with a quick report of your patients before lunch if this will help you separate yourself, and offer to do the same for your coworkers. Remind your colleagues to stay hydrated and eat healthy by placing flyers and notes in common areas that encourage healthy living habits. You might be the change agent that your unit needs. On the right here, you'll see a chart, and this is some healthy snack ideas. And this is actually from the Happy Artichoke website. It's snack ideas for the busy nurse. And this breaks down the snacking ingredients with a couple different items. So low calorie, high in fiber, high in protein, or high in vitamins and minerals. So some ideas there, and then you can go to the website to actually get some more ideas for that. 8 ways to make simple changes that impact your health. So the first one here is shifting to healthier foods. You can swap out soda for water at lunch, choose an apple with peanut butter instead of chips for a snack, and move from cream-based sauces to broth. Shifting allows us to make small modifications without changing our entire eating plan, which is much harder. These small changes can create big wins, preventing diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure. The second one is protein. Go lean. Go lean by buying skinless meat and choosing lean lunch meat, so turkey, chicken, and roast beef, instead of salami or bologna. Eat seafood twice a week, such as salmon, cod, or tilapia, to get your omega-3s. Studies have shown that this fatty acid actually fights depression. Experiment with plant proteins as well. Use nuts, beans, eggs, soy, and veggie burgers to incorporate protein without meat. The third one is vary your veggies. Buy veggies that are in season and eat a rainbow weekly. Make half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Next is limit alcohol. So if you do drink alcohol, limit it to a drink a day for women or 2 for men. Alcohol is considered empty calories, or calories that do not provide nutrition. It can also mess with your blood sugar, and alcohol can damage the lining of the stomach, which prevents proper absorption of nutrients. Next is choosing whole grains. So eat whole grains, which contain nutrients such as zinc, magnesium, B vitamins, and fiber. Try brown rice, whole wheat bread and pasta, and oatmeal. You can add barley to soups and stews, or try a quinoa salad. Popcorn is a whole grain too, and that's usually how I get my whole grains in. Pack healthy snacks. We've all felt hangry at one point or another. I'm sure it's not just me. And that makes it harder to make a healthy choice. Have healthy snacks with you on the go and ready at home. Save time in the kitchen. So start with a clutter-free counter if you can. Wash as you go. Make double batches to freeze or eat as leftovers. And chop extra veggies for future soups, snacks, or stir fries. Place cut veggies or cooked rice in gallon freezer bags so it's easy to see the contents for a future meal. Date your freezer bag and describe contents so nothing goes to waste. Try something new. So you can find a new recipe online or in a cookbook or even on YouTube. You could make a date night with your family or friends to cook together, or commit to trying a new fruit or vegetable every month. Recently, I've been watching Bon Appetit's YouTube videos and picking a recipe to try. Even if I don't make a specific recipe from their channel, at least it gives me inspiration for my next dish. I know you've heard the saying that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If we care for ourselves and invest time and energy into our own health, we will be more productive, happy, and healthy nurses. And I love this quote here by Stephen Covey. Most of us spend too much time on what is urgent and not enough time on what is important. So I encourage you to take some time, reflect on what your goals are, things that you'd like to work on, and then maybe make a couple small changes and just see how that makes you feel. You might find that just adding some hydration during the day makes you feel a lot better, gives you more energy. Tweaking your sleep schedule a little bit might make a big impact on your cognitive function during the day or your focus. Just things like this that are small changes that are not completely overwhelming can make a really big impact on your health and your life. So I hope you found this helpful, and you can always read more at happyartichoke.com. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I hope you have a great day.